Valerie. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started just as usual with our chin tucks and head turns. Okay, so seated or standing, just think about that space in between each individual vertebrae as we lengthen through our spine. And we're going to go ahead and chin tuck back for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Let's maintain that length through the spine and do our head turns for 10, 5 per side. Here we go. Turn, center, turn, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Moving on to our warm-up phase, our mobility phase here. We're going to go into our cat-cow first. Okay, so seated or standing with your hands on the seat of the chair there, okay, with your hips folded. I'm going to do everything seated for round 1. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so we're just going to arch and tuck our chin and then untuck and lift up. Okay, so we're just warming up the spine here, adding some gentle movement. Should not feel strenuous. It should just feel like you're just tapping on the body, telling it to get ready and prepare itself for the work to come. 5 more seconds here. 2 and 1. Okay, next we are moving into our 4-count cherry picker. So either seated or standing, our feet come right outside the width of our shoulder. And we're going to reach outward, reach middle, reach in. And then we're going to add an arm circle at the top today, okay? And then right back down, outwards, middle, in, arm circle. Warming up our hips, the back side of our body, and this arm circle gets our shoulders involved now too. And time. Okay, next exercise is our, we're going to do a lateral 2-step to a cross-body punch today. So instead of step, we're going to go step together, step, punch. Okay, seated, we're doing a lateral tap twice and then a cross-body punch. So step together, step, punch. That's it. And time. Okay. Last one in our warm-up circuit is a knee raise and twist. Okay, so you're going to march, try to pick your knee up high, and you're going to kind of rotate around that knee. Okay, so you should feel this thoracic twist, some rotation in your movement, picking up your knee as high as you can without feeling like you're, gonna fall or anything like that. And just make sure you have a chair or wall near you in case you do feel like your balance is not all there just yet. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to go back to the top. We have 2 more rounds of that. You can stay seated if you're seated, or you can come to standing, starting with our cat-cow. Okay, ready? Here we go. Arch and untuck. Staying present, really thinking about how you're mobilizing that spine. Just think we've all been sleeping, hopefully, throughout the night, laying down, not getting much movement for it. So this is an excellent time to start waking it up with these cat-cows. Time, okay. Back to those 4-count cherry pickers. And remember, we're adding that arm circle in. So feet are right outside the width of the hips. we're reaching outwards, middle, inwards, arm circle. You don't have to force anything past the range that your body wants to go. Okay, work within your range. And time. Okay, we have our lateral two-step with our cross-body punch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and step together, step, punch. Ready? Here we go. Step together, step, punch. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now we have our alternating knee raise with that slight rotation over that lifted knee. Okay, you're lifting your knee as high as it wants to let you go. Okay, here we go. So it's a little more than a march. You feel that balance factor in there for a second. If it feels too intense and you want to take it to a march, though, please feel free, okay? We have one more round to go through after this. And time. Good. Okay, one more time back to the top with our cat house. In 3, 2, and 1. Staying present. Visualize your spine, right? As it flexes and bends and extends. Think about how the hips and neck work synergistically with the spine, create that movement. Okay, final round of 4 count cherry pickers with the arm circle, seated or standing. Remember, those feet are just outside the width of our shoulders here, reaching outwards. Middle, in, arm circle. Five seconds. 2 and 1. Okay, back to our lateral two-step with a cross-body punch. Okay, remember, if you're seated, you're doing your lateral abduction twice, okay? Here we go. Step together, step, punch, step, punch, step together, step, step together, step. And time. Okay, final exercise in our warm-up is that alt knee raise with that slight diagonal twist. Remember, take it to a regular march if this feels a little uncomfortable or awkward. Good, less than 10 seconds. And then we're going to go into a 6-minute cardio block. 2 and 1. Okay, recover, guys. Go ahead, get a drink. That was our warm-up, focusing on some joint mobility there. Next, we're going to focus on getting our heart rate to go up a little bit, really warm up the body before we go into our strength work, okay? So, what we got is our seal jack, okay? So remember, we're kind of focused on this back side of the shoulder, right? Okay, right here, if I'm with this flexed foot and I'm coming up like this is our middle ground here, okay? You're kind of working this glute med. If that feels too intense and you want to go to a toe tap, I just not even close to hiding.
Oh, well, it's fine.
You could go to a toe tap. This takes the intensity down a little bit versus our flexed foot, okay? And then we can also do this seated, all right, which I'll do round one. And you can, if you're advanced, add a couple, I always do that, a couple regular in there, okay? After our seal jacks, we have an arc over knee raise. So think of our warm up here, but now we're, okay? If that's too much, you can go back to our warm up move or a march, okay? Looks the same seated. All right, so after that, we have our total body extensions, okay? All right. All right, so you see I push my hips back so that I stay nice and neutral through here. I don't want to be round through here, okay? And the arms come up, they're along for the ride. If you're advanced, you can come up onto your toes. Looks the same seated. Round one, I'll do everything seated, okay? This is another 30, 10, it's 6 minutes long. We're going to try to get our heart rate up and our body temperature nice and warm here. Starting with our seal jacks, okay? Let's get ready and begin, all right? Remember, a flexed foot is a little bit more intense than a pointed toe tap to the floor, okay? Ten more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Next we have our arc over knee raises. Okay, so all right, we're doing this rotational arm. If that's too intense, let's go back to what we did in our warm up. Okay, and you'll come right here. Here we go. Three, 2, and 1. Whew, okay, total body extensions are next, okay? Remember, on that scale of 1 to 10, you're anywhere from a 5 to 7 of intensity, right? 1 being sitting, 10 being running. Okay, here we go. If you feel you're too high, take it back a notch. Okay, if you feel like you're working over that, pull back a little. And if you feel like you're working under that, however, feel like you can work a little bit harder, then please do. If you're not feeling it today and it feels like 3 is where you need to be, don't, listen to your body, okay? And time. That's round 1. I'm going to move to standing, but if you're seated and want to stay that way, please do. We're going back to the top with our seal jacks. Here we go. I'm doing the flexed foot variation. You can always take it to the pointed toe if that feels too intense, tapping the toe onto the floor. Remember, we're working the upper back and the glute med here. Getting a nice little inner thigh stretch here too, while simultaneously elevating our heart rate. And time, good. Arc over knee raises, okay? Arc over knee raises are next. Or kind of looks like a figure 8, figure 8 here. So every time that knee comes up, you're doing a little lower body crunch for your abdominals. Try to sync your exhale with that knee raise. Three, 2, and 1. Good, okay? Total body extensions. Feet are underneath the hips. Toes are faced forward, okay? Come to the side. We're going to swing back. And if you're advanced, you can come up to your toes. or you can just stay flat on your feet. Moving at your own pace here. Your arms are just along for the ride. They're like a swing, pendulum here. Momentum is driving them through the hip, coming back, and then thrusting forward. 2, 1. One more round. Don't let the timer stop you from getting your drinks. If you need a drink, take one at any time, okay? Final round through, we have seal jacks. Ready? Begin. Notice all the different directions our legs are moving and our arms are moving through each of these 3 exercises, okay? Got this lateral movement for both of them here on the upper and lower body limbs here. And time, all done with those. Next, we have our knee raise with our arc overs or figure 8s here, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Now we have diagonal and rotational with the upper body. And hip flexion through the hip. With our knee raise. Five, 3, 2, and 1. All right, nice job. Now we have just total body extensions left, okay? Now we're gonna go into hip flexion and extension, all right? And the arms are gonna go up and down here. We're almost there, 10 seconds and we break. Moving on to our next block. 2, and 1. All right, nice job, okay? 6 minutes of cardio right there, okay? Mobility, cardio, check. Moving into strength, block 1. Next, we are going to do our sumo squat. All right, just like last week, just like we've been doing, wide, the outside of our heel, or the inside of our heel is matched up with the outside of our shoulder. That's the width we want, okay? And we're gonna lower down, down, drive through the heels up, up. Okay, so it's like a 2 count down, 2 count up, okay? If you're going to be seated, you're going to lateral tap, leg extension, okay? And I'll be doing that round 1 and we'll be alternating. The next one is, instead of 2 rows in our hinge like last week, we're going to do an alternating row. So we're going to hinge, that's the first part, right? Row with one arm, row with the other arm, come up, okay? So from the front, okay, my feet are under my hips, toes are forward. Hinge, row, row, up, okay? Back down, row, row, up, okay? And then that's gonna look the same. If you're seated, we'll just be on the edge of our chair, alternating our rows and sitting back up. And then our last one is our curl press, just like we've been doing. Remember, if the overhead press does not work for you, if you have shoulder limitations, you're gonna stay with your bicep curl here, okay? All right, let's get started. This is a 45-15, okay? So remember, if we are focused on quality over quantity, all right? So the quality of your movement is much more important than how many repetitions you get in that 45 seconds. So sumo squat is our first exercise, okay? So I'll be doing the seated variation here. And if you're standing, you can do it with or without weights. Just remember that foot placement outside the hips, toes out. Ready and begin. Here we go. The sumo squat still targets your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes like a traditional squat, but you're also getting a little more abduction and adduction in it. And that's why with our seated variation, we do this lateral tap, right? To make sure we hit all those same muscle groups. You're somewhere in between standing and sitting, and you want to challenge yourself. You could always try 1 round standing and the other 2 rounds sitting, okay? Like you can tailor it, okay, to the intensity you need time. Okay, our next one is our alternating row, or hinge with our alternating row. Okay, so if you're with me seated, we're at the edge of our seat, our spine is lengthened. Ready? Here we go. We're going to hinge, row, row, bring it up. Okay, if you're standing, really use those glutes to stand back up straight, okay? Think it's your glutes making you stand up straight versus your head making you stand up straight. Right? The source of the movement is actually at the hips when we stand back up, not at the head. Like the hinges of a door. Good. Less than 10 seconds here, and then we're going to move on to our curl and press. 2 and 1. Excellent work. Okay. Curl to press now. We're going to keep our knuckles facing each side of the wall here for both of those movements to keep it nice and fluid. If the overhead pressing is too much for your shoulders, if they don't like that, just stick with your curl. Okay. Here we go. And move at a pace that's comfortable for you. If you feel like your muscles are burning out, your form is, compromised, it doesn't, you're straining, take a little rest. You're standing, make sure you're engaging those glutes, okay? That helps prevent lower back discomfort when we're pressing overhead. 3, 2, and 1. That's round 1. I'm going to move to standing. If you're seated and want to stay there, please do so. We're going back to sumo squats. So either lateral tap the leg extension or have those heels nice and wide outside the shoulder. Okay? With or without weights, we're going down. Down, drive it up. 2. Down. Down, drive it up. 2. Down, drive it up. 2. Okay, remember we're pressing through the heel of the foot when we lift up. That's going to naturally help us engage our glutes more. Stay focused. Think of how you're working that lower body and telling those muscles to contract. We've got 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, we're going to shift our leg position to feet right under the hips, toes facing forward. All right, we're going to alternate row and back to stand. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. We're going to push the hips back, row, row, squeeze the glutes to stand. Back down. Make that mind muscle connection. When you're rowing, think of that lat muscle, that weedy triangular muscle on the back of the rib cage there. Think of that contraction there. And think of your glutes as you're standing up. Your glutes and your hamstrings. 10 more seconds here. Squeeze. 3, 2, and time. Excellent. Curl to press is next, seated or standing. Remember, if you're standing, you're really keeping those glutes. I'm kind of doing this. I'm kind of doing this, and that's going to help prevent lower back discomfort. You can see it'll strain if you're like this, right? So squeeze and tuck, okay? Only do the press if your shoulders say it's okay to, all right? We're working bicep. Shoulder, shoulder, bicep. When we're done this round, we have one more to go through and then we move on. Three, two, and time. Okay, final set here. Okay, get your drinks as you need them. We're going back to sumo squats or lateral tap the leg extension for the final round here. Heels outside the width of your shoulder. We're gonna sink it down. Ready? Begin. Going down, down and up, 2, down, 2 and up, 2. 2 seconds, down, 2 seconds, up. Where is the weight at in your foot? In your heels, yep. Good. We have 15 more seconds here. Okay, think of the engagement in the legs. Think of the engagement in the glutes. Feel the muscle contractions, okay? It starts by developing the mind-muscle connection first, okay? 3, 2, and 1. The stronger our muscles get, the easier it is for us to feel that mind-muscle connection. Okay, going back to our alternating row, the pinch, feet come underneath the hips now, toes are forward. All right, we're gonna push those hips back. Ready? Begin, push them back. We're gonna row. Row, squeeze the glutes up. You can move at a tempo that's good for you. We're past halfway this exercise. Last 10 seconds here, and we're going to move on to curl to press before we break. Move on to our next block. 2 and 1. Just got to finish it off. Good. Final exercise in this block is our curl to press, seated or standing. Remember, if you're standing, you're doing that slight pelvic tuck. Squeeze and tuck, okay? Protect your lower back. Here we go. And as always, you're only going overhead if your body is comfortable with that. And if it's not, you're just sticking right here, right? So that's your alternative, is just the curl. We got 10 more seconds and then we're moving on. Three, 2, and time. Excellent. Okay, take a break here. All right. We have one more strength block to get through. All right, and this is our split squat. So, a couple different ways. Get both hands on the back of the chair, okay? Remember that space between your left foot and your right foot. There should be space, that width between. You don't want to be like this, okay? That just makes you have to focus on your balance more instead of the muscle, okay? You want that space. It's going to give you a better, wider center of gravity, and you'll have better balance, okay? And you can focus on that mind-muscle connection much better this way, okay? So whether you're both hands on the chair, or one hand on the chair, or no hands on the chair, what we're going to do is we're going to go just like our sumo squat, down, 2, up, 2. So that's our tempo. It doesn't matter if your body doesn't want to go down very far. That's okay. You're not forcing it. You're just trying to keep that tempo. It's 2 seconds lowering, 2 seconds coming up, no matter how far down your leg goes, okay? Remember, it's the front leg that is the primary one we're working, and you should feel on the way up, this area here, that's where you're putting your thought, okay? And on the way down, you should feel some quadricep, okay? It's okay if you feel it differently, and it's okay if you feel it in the back leg. Sometimes that's just a tightness that we have in our body. So alternating leg presses are seated variation, or I'm sorry, just all same side leg press. is our seated variation. Excellent exercise. Our next one, rope pull, okay? Working our lats in that vertical position. We just worked them in their horizontal. Now we're gonna do vertical, okay? Okay, so let's get ready. This is another 9-minute block, 45 seconds on the split squat. Remember, 2 down, 2 up. I will be doing the seated leg press first round, okay?
All on one side, then the other
All,
side.
yep, all on one side. So once you get your feet planted where they should be, you shouldn't have to move them. Now, of course, if your heel's popping off the ground and you have to adjust your positioning, yeah, then you're gonna move them, but we're not moving the leg forward and back or anything like that, okay? So let's get ready in 3, 2, and 1. Again, I am doing seated variation. So I am leg press. So you're staying in that lunge position and you're lowering down 2 and raising up 2 and lowering down 2 and raising up 2. And that front leg, you're really driving through the heel of the foot, just like we always do. That really helps you develop the mind muscle connection through the glute, which is going to, the stronger our glutes are, the more calories we burn at rest and the better balance we have, okay? 5 more seconds here. 2 and time, okay? Shake them out and let's get ready for the other side, okay? Remember, these seated ones are hard, are very hard too. So either variation you're doing, you know, you're working hard, okay? Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. For my seated, I'm scooped back a little bit. I'm pressing something heavy away, something imaginary that's heavy away with the heel of my foot. And then after we get done this side, we move on to our rope pull. We've got 10 more seconds here. Remember, the timer is just our guide, okay? These, you know, lunges are hard, so if you can't make it the full 45 seconds, don't feel discouraged. Remember, quality over quantity time. Okay, rope pull is next. Moving up to the upper body, largest muscle group in our upper body here, the lats, okay? So we're gonna go ahead with some intensity, like we're a little angry, right? We're gonna in time, okay. Whew, it's round 1. They are sneaky. That's okay, because you're doing, yeah, it is a cardio. You're working those lats, but you're also getting a cardio benefit because you're adding that intensity. So it sneaks up on you. You don't notice it until you stop. Yep. Back to lunges, our split squats, okay? So seated or standing. All right, space between the left and right foot. I'm lowering down, 2, driving up, 2. Okay, my weight is in that front heel as I press up. Remember, it's okay if you're not going to 90-degree through the knee. Don't force yourself to go to a place it's not ready to. Work within your range, okay? And focus on just a nice quality repetition and focus on trying to feel it with your mind here, okay? Trying that when you say, okay, squeeze, that you actually feel it squeezing, okay? That takes time to build that connection and time. All right, so you just have to be consistent and patient, okay? All right, other side in 3, 2, and 1. in our group, we're in a unique age, even for me, I'm not a senior, but where we've known life before the internet and smartphones, and we've known life after, and we can appreciate that good things come with time and patience and are at our fingertips, like a lot of things are today, you know. It's like, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Okay, that's round 2 of our lunges. We've got to do round 2 of our rope pull now. Okay, so standing, think about that tuck again for your rope pull, okay? It gives you like this nice stable support versus if you're kind of like just, you're kind of wiggling all over the place. So tuck, and here we go. So I'm tucking my glutes, I'm squeezing my glutes. It's like this isometric contraction in my lower body, so I can get the intensity I'm looking for with my upper body. Firing up our lats. That's the muscle group we use to pull, which right here we're pulling down. We're getting that heart rate up because we're using a little bit of intensity, a little bit of gusto here. And time, okay? Now you might feel that elevation. Take your drinks as you need it, okay? One more round, okay, and we're done with our strength work. We're gonna move to our core block and be done. So split squats or seated leg press all on one side for the final time. Here we go. Lowering down. 2, drive it up. 2, right, through the heel. 2, drive it up. Quality over quantity. Good, 10 more seconds on this side, and we'll even out. 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, shake it out. One more side, one more side. We got 10 seconds till we start. Enjoy that very short 10 seconds. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, begin. We're gonna lower down, down, drive it up, up, down, drive it up. Pressing through that heel in the front. The front leg is doing the majority of the work here. We're past halfway. We have one more set of rope pulls. And then we move to our final core block, which is 6 minutes long. It'll be another 30-10. Less than 10 seconds. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and time. Okay. All done with the lunges. Yay. All right. So rope pulls are next. All right. So again, if you're standing here, I'm really thinking of tucking, creating this really nice solid base of support all through my legs and my core. Here we go. Gives us much more leverage for that intensity we're looking for when we pull down. Five seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. All right. Strength blocks are done. Get a drink. We have one more 6-minute block. And we are all done. So nothing new here. Same as last week. We've got our single arm overhead march. Okay. Remember, the goal is to, I don't want to go real fast through it, right? Because the goal is to try to get your knee up as high as you can here and find that little moment of control before you let it down. Okay. So it's not long, but it's not as fast as if we were like marching in place or something. Okay. And then we're going to do one side with the arm up overhead. Remember, if that doesn't work, we can come with a weight here, okay? All right, and just do it from here. We're looking to off-center the weight here to challenge our core a little more. Or you could do it without a weight as well, okay? You put your hand here or here, okay? And then we're gonna do the other side. It's gonna look the same seated, all right? And then we have our slip rope, right? So there's that rope right here at our shoulder, right? And we have to duck under it and come back over. Okay, so under and over, under and over, okay? So that is our second one. When we're seated, we're just going to extend through the spine and we're gonna focus on this upper body rotation and we're gonna keep our legs a little wide for it, okay? All right, so last block, guys. If you're using a weight for your overhead march, here we are, okay? Ready, and begin. And if you have a kettlebell, you can use a kettlebell here too. Kettlebells increase the challenge a little bit more because of the way you hold the handle and the just the way it is here. So sometimes if it's you have a 5-pound weight and a 5-pound kettlebell, the kettlebell still might feel a little more challenging even though it's the same weight. And time. Good. Get ready for the other side. Okay. Remember, you can always keep it here if overhead hurts. You can keep the weight right here, or you could get rid of the weight. Okay. Here we go. Other side. Remember, when the knees go up, I'm thinking of that exhale. These work our deepest core muscles, our transverse abdominals. They're like a belt or a corset in our body. And the stronger it gets, the tighter it gets, the more, it cinches in like a corset. Excellent. Okay. Bob and weave is next. All right. So you're either stepping under and over that imaginary rope, or you're seated with me. My feet are wide. I'm at the edge of my seat and I'm going over and under with my upper body. Should feel this nice lengthening through the spine. It should feel good, like a little bit of the spinal massage here. If you're doing the seated variation with me. Take the socks off. And time. Okay, back to the top. All right, I'm going to move to standing. We have our overhead march here. And begin. This is friendly, so I'm going to turn around and look. See, so that slowing it down, the challenge comes right here, right? Creating that neuromuscular control through the body that says, oh, not only do I have to lift it up, but now I have to hold it here for a second. And time. Good. Same thing other side. It's your body's muscles working synergistically to hold that balance. Okay. Here we go in 2, 1, other side. Almost there. 5 more seconds. 2, and time. Good. All right. We decide if you're using one. We have our slip rope, our imaginary slip rope right at shoulder height. And we got to go under and over. Here we go. 10 more seconds here, and then we've got one more round. 2 and 1. Okay, final set, guys, and we will stretch and be done for the day. Here we go on 3, 2, and 1. You really feel like you have this down. Start to think of pulling that navel back towards the spine with your exhale. You're pulling it back. And time, other side, like you want to feel that muscle contraction within your abdominals here. Okay, here we go. 2, 1, and back on it. Last 10 seconds. 5, 2, and time. Okay. Whew, okay. Bob and weave. Then we're done. Imagine that imaginary rope, wall to wall, right at your shoulder height. We gotta clear it, right? We gotta step over and under. Over and under. Two, and time. All right, nice work, guys. Let's do a little gentle stretch before we are finished for the day here. Okay, get a drink of water. Ooh, and like usual, let's start with our forward fold here. If standing's a good option for you here. Okay, so we're just placing our hands on the back of the chair. Okay, I'm trying to get a 90-degree bend through the hips. Don't force your shoulders to go up to ear height if your arms don't want to go that far. But this is a nice stretch for the hamstrings, the back. You can gently sway your hips side to side here and feel how that stretch moves through your body there as long as it's comfortable. You can also just stay still. If that does not work for you, we're going to do our seated variation here, okay? And you're coming up and you're trying to create a nice length through the spine here, okay? So I'm trying to think about that space between each vertebrae here. If your arms need to come here, that's okay. Again, we're not forcing them to a place they don't want to be. I'm just trying to think about this length and taking any rounding I have outside away, okay? Good. And then from here, let's go ahead and do a little extension. So we're going to take our palms, whether you're seated or standing, we're going to take our palms, put them on the small of our back, act like our elbows are trying to touch one another, which they're not, you know, unless we're contortionists. And we're lifting our heart to the ceiling. Put your head wherever it's comfortable. Like for me, looking up, that doesn't always work for me. So don't feel that you can look up. It's totally fine too. But if it's uncomfortable, just look forward, look down. The idea is we're feeling this through our forearms, our shoulders, and our chest, okay? Breathe into it. We're also getting a little bit of back extension here, okay? Good. And release from there, okay? Let's go ahead and give a neck and trap stretch. So now we're paying special attention to the neck and shoulder area, top. You can gently shift and tilt your chin down to the opposite knee and see how that kind of changes where you feel the stretch a little bit. And again, play around with that movement because what works for one may be different for another, okay? All right, and let's gently come out of that. We're gonna do the same thing other side. We're gonna gently pull the head over and gently press down with that elongated arm. And then you can try tilting your chin down towards the opposite knee. Excellent. Come on out of that. And we're going to finish with our spinal twist. Okay, so I'm just going to arc it over and twist. It works a little better seated here because you can kind of give yourself some leverage on that opposite thigh. Trying to look around that back side of the room, that back shoulder, but you're not forcing your neck anywhere it's not ready to go. You're just working within your range, taking it to your edge. Again, on that scale of 1 to 10 intensity, when I say your edge, think about like a 3 to a 5, okay? You're not trying to tense up the muscle by trying too hard, okay? Good, and then from here, we're just gonna arc it over and switch sides here. And the idea is why you only take it to your edge is the more comfortable you can relax into your body, the more your muscles release, the more you can actually get into that stretch then, okay? Versus just saying, get over there. All right, and then come back to center. All right, let's go ahead and inhale up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. And one more time, inhale up, palms together. Exhale to heart. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's class. Thank you so much for coming.